Good morning or afternoon or evening. Algebra 1. All right, we are in section 6 today. Chapter 2, section 6, page 88. Open up your textbooks. Make sure you always have that with you. Page 88 in the textbooks. We are going to be dividing numbers. We're going to be simplifying expressions through division. And let's jump into it. All right, so first thing, you guys are going to have to take some time, copy the 3 key concept charts into your notes. And again, remember, you get that 1 page of notes to use on every test. And this could be very helpful come test time when we finish up chapter 2. So copy the 3 key concept charts into your notes. As you see on the screen right there, 2 of them are on page 88. 1 of them is on page 89. And then if we scroll down here a bit, you got to copy the full concept summary into your notes as well. And listen, I don't make you guys do this just for the heck of it. I make you do it because it's important. It's going to help you. It's going to get you guys to understand the material even better. All right, so that concept summary is on page 90. So do that, okay? Now let's jump into one of the key terms that they present to you here. So the key term is multiplicative inverse. Basically, you're taking the reciprocal. Okay, now if some of you hear me say multiplicative inverse or reciprocal and you're still like, I got nothing, I still don't remember what those mean, then there's 3 example problems right there. Okay, basically all you are doing is taking the original number that's given and you're flipping it. Okay, so if you see the first example, what if I were to give you 1/3 and then I say take the multiplicative inverse or take the reciprocal, flip it. The 3 gets brought up to the top, the numerator, and the 1 gets dropped down to the bottom, the denominator. That's it. That's all you're doing. Notice you're not changing the sign on the number. So if it was a positive, it stays a positive. Or if it was a negative, it stays a negative. Okay, there's another example, 7/4. Flip it. Now it's 4/7. And now what if you're given a whole number, like -2? Well, there's always a 1 in the denominator. They'll just never write it, okay? It's not necessary. But in terms of a multiplicative inverse or reciprocal, that 1 is now very important. So you have to flip it. That 1 goes to the top. In this case, the 2 is brought down to the denominator. But notice the sign doesn't change. It's still a negative, original, still a negative at the end. All right, there you go. There's the concept for you. Now, one of my personal favorites here, use KFC when you are dividing with fractions. K, keep. F, flip. C, change. Use KFC. Now I'm going to show you what that looks like in a couple example problems coming up here, but that's the main thing that I use when you're dividing with fractions. Use KFC. All right. Now, one of the last notes, probably a review here. All right. How do you calculate the mean of a group or series of numbers? Mean, that's basically another word for calculate the average. Okay, so you add up all the numbers and then you divide by the quantity of numbers that were given, meaning if they give you 5 numbers, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's say those are your numbers, you would add them all up and then divide by 5 at the end because they gave you 5 total numbers. All right, we're going to do another example so you can see what that looks like too. Okay, here we go. First example problem. You got a -2/3. We are dividing that by 2. I'm going to go ahead and put this 2 over a 1. Again, they're not going to write it, but I'm going to write it because you will be using KFC, and you're going to have to take the multiplicative inverse of the second fraction. So K, we will keep the first fraction. F, we will flip the second fraction. And C, we will change division to multiplication. So let's rewrite this. Keep the first fraction. All right, -2/3, keep it. Flip the second fraction. We flipped it. Now it's 1/2. And change the problem to multiplication. All right. Now all you're doing is multiplying fractions. Multiply straight across. All right. So straight across, straight across. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Negative 2 over 6, but we're not done. Why? Because you need to reduce the fraction to negative 1/3. All right, there we go. First example problem down. Let's move into the second one here. Remember, we will keep, we will flip, and we will change. So keep the first. All right, simple enough. Flip the second. Now it's 3 over 5, and change that to multiplication. All right, multiply straight across. Negative 1 times 3, negative 3. 3 times 5, 15. Not done yet because we need to reduce. This would reduce to a negative 1 over 5. All right, good. Okay, perfect. That's the first two. That's the KFC examples. So make sure that you understand that. If not, rewatch that part of the video. All right, let's move down. Let's do a simple mean problem here. Okay, so we need to add these up. We have a negative 2, a positive 9, a negative 3, a positive 5. Okay, so add them up. Doesn't matter the order because with addition, you can add them in any direction you want. So just for the heck of it here, I see two negatives, negative 2, negative 3. That is going to give me a negative 5. Then we got a positive 9. We got a positive 5. That's going to give me 14. So then basically you're looking at 14 minus 5, and that's going to be giving you 9. Okay, and then how many numbers do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Divide that by 4. 9 over 4. Can you reduce that? No, you can't. And in my book, you can leave it like that. All right? It is an improper fraction that is reduced, and that is okay by me. If you would like to proceed further and divide it and get a decimal, so be it. But what I like to tell all my students is if you don't have to, then don't do that extra step, because that one extra step allows one more mistake to potentially be made. So don't do it if you don't need to. But for whatever reason, I have a lot of students that love decimals. I don't like them. I like fractions. All right. So keep it as a fraction, reduce the fraction, move on to the next problem. All right. So boom, there we go. Now, last example problem here. Before you do this, look at example 4 on page 90. Read example 4 on page 90. Take a look at every step. Then come back to this part in the video and watch me now do this problem. Okay, so this is the steps you would take here. I think it's easiest if you break this problem up actually into 2 parts. All right, this is another way to write the original expression because the negative 8 is underneath the whole numerator, meaning that negative 8 affects both the 24 and the 10. I'm going to rewrite this to show that it truly is underneath both parts. This, in my opinion, helps you to see you can reduce both parts and then put everything back together at the end. So let's do that. I see a negative 24, a negative 8. They're both negatives. So my answer in this case will be a positive. I see an X next to the 24, but nothing next to the 8. So the X will be in my answer. So think of it this way. What is 24 divided by 8? That is 4. And like I said, the X will be in your answer. So drop the X down. Now, this negative sign right here is really with the 10, creating a negative 10. Okay, so a negative 10 over a negative 8, and in this situation again, would create a positive. So plus. Okay. Now, 8 over 10 does not work out perfectly, but it can be reduced. So reduce 8 over 10. What goes into both 10 and 8? 2. That's going to be the best number that goes into it. So that would drop this to a 5 over 4. All right, so 4x plus 5 over 4. And that, whoops, sorry there, hello. That would be our solution. Okay, so 4x plus 5 over 4. Remember, if the denominator is underneath the whole numerator, that whole expression, then that means the denominator goes with all parts of the numerator. So break it up, all right? Break it down into individual parts. It's a lot easier to see and simplify an expression when you do it that way. All right, guys, that's it. Do the best you can. Keep working hard, guys, all right? Keep that motivation high. Keep asking questions if you got them, all right? Take the initiative, take the maturity, and own that education, all right? Do the best that you can. Ask me questions. Pay close attention during the Zooms. Ask me questions there. And you guys are going to be fine, all right? You're going to get this. All right, I'll see you in the next one.